Hello everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting. Today is the Sunday before the AFC Championship game, so I'm back in my Chiefs gear, and by the time you guys see this, I'll be either very happy or very sad, so hopefully I'm very happy. But while I was waiting for the game to start, I decided I would record my support video for John's Comics with Kids. It's his 400 YouTube subscriber, 1,000 Instagram follower giveaway. And what he asked was that you share some stories and that you thought were appropriate for kids or that had meaning to you as a kid. So I'm going to share a few stories. I have to admit it was a little hard for me to come up with stuff because most of the stories I remember, I was a little bit older. I was a teenager and that kind of stuff. So some of these are, maybe borderline for kids that are John's age, but I still think they're stories that they'll enjoy. And the first one is not one that's borderline at all. And it's one that was definitely from my childhood that I just remember reading all the time, and that is Calvin and Hobbes. It's not your traditional comic in that strip, because it was in the Sunday papers back when I was a kid, and I don't even know if they still have the comic or the cartoons in the Sunday paper anymore. But I loved Calvin and Hobbes as a kid. And between my sister and I think we got every one of the collected editions of Calvin and Hobbes, and I have probably read these things 1,000 times. The humor was spot on. Bill Watterson was a genius. I just love these stories. And I don't know how easy it is to get these collected editions nowadays, but they're just so good. I've read them recently. Every so often I just have to go back and get a little Calvin in my life, and it's just so good. And so that's the first thing I'm going to recommend for John's girls is that they check out Calvin and Hobbes, because it was a big part of my childhood, and you can still get these, I think, and I just loved Calvin and Hobbes as a kid. Next up, we're going to transition into some more traditional comic books. The first one on the list is a relatively new story, and that is Miss Marvel. And I don't know if his girls have read this or not, but I think this is just, this new character, it was one of those where they took a name of an existing character, but they changed just about everything about the new version, and I just think it's a really great story. I really love this first edition. I haven't read a lot of it after that, but this first trade, No Normal, I just think is a really good book, and so that's the second book I'm going to recommend. The third thing I'm going to recommend is one that I only have digitally, and it is going to pop up here next to me. Wait, that's a picture of my dog Percy. What is that doing there? I swear I'm not trying to bribe the judges. Charlie, he is a cute dog though. But anyway, we'll get back to move along from that, and the picture I'm going to show you guys is for Batgirl Year 1. And this one is maybe a little older, maybe more Kate's age than Charlie's age, but I think it's a fantastic story. John talked about, really enjoying Batman Year 1, which I also enjoy. But I always enjoyed the Batgirl Year 1 and even the Robin Year 1. And I know there's a Batgirl and Robin Year 1, which I have never actually read. That's one I should probably read at some point. But Batgirl Year 1, I just think it's a really good story about her trying to come to age and find herself that I think his girls would enjoy. The last comic I'm going to share is another Batgirl themed comic, and this is the first issue of the original Batgirl Cassandra Cain run that was coming out when I was collecting in college. And this is a young girl that take on her wing that had, a tough childhood, and I just think these are a really good story. Again, maybe a little older, more Kate's age than Charlie's age, but I think definitely good stories. The next two things I'm going to talk about are actually cartoon shows that I would recommend for the girls. The first one, wait, there's another picture of my dog. How does he keep getting in here? I swear I'm not trying to bribe the judges. I swear I don't know how my dog Perseus keeps popping up, but anyway, we'll get him off the screen. And we're going to talk about Sensational Spider-Man, which is probably one of the shorter-lived Spider-Man cartoons out there because of rights things and that kind of stuff. They ended up canceling it before its time. But for me, this was the best Spider-Man cartoon there is. I think it's something that the girls would really enjoy if they've never seen it. It's one that's not out there. It's a little hard to find, but if you can track it down, it's one I would recommend. The last cartoon I'm going to recommend is Teen Titans, which is the original Teen Titans, not the Go. If they like the Young Justice stuff, I think they'll really like these. So that's another thing I would recommend for the girls. Last but not least, I'm going to recommend a book series. And this is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. And this is the first book in that series, The Lightning Thief. I read these when I was a little bit older, after I'd read the Harry Potter books. And I was just looking for something similar, and I love these books. I was way too old for the target demographic for them, but I still really enjoyed them. I think the girls will enjoy them. So that is my last recommendation. So just kind of a quick recap. I got Calvin and Hobbes, Batgirl Year One, Miss Marvel, the original Batgirl series with Cassandra Cain, the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, the Teen Titans cartoon, and the Lightning Thief. So with that, I'm going to go hopefully root my Chiefs to victory, and I wish the rest of you a good day on your Sunday, and hopefully the girls found something that they'll really enjoy and want to read.